Well, hello.
Hello there.
Afternoon and welcome once again to Gaming Under the Influence. I'm Mike here with Alex, coming to you from GreenDragonCVR in Woodbridge, Ontario, to talk to you guys after a little bit of a hiatus about video games.
Fucking A.
Excited, buddy. It's nice to be back.
Yeah, it feels like we kind of have been slacking a little bit on releasing a podcast, but
it's not our fault. There's been people have been slacking on releasing games.
Yeah, I think things have been busy. Summer's been busy. Games have been a little bit
Sparse.
So
at least in the sense that we tend to fucking build our coverage around big events.
Big releases, big games. You know, we crave the newest and
More often than not, yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's been a bit of a, just like in previous summers, actually, in 2019 and 20, we did the same kind of fucking coverage in the summertime about old stuff or stuff that we put off, or we started to play games that we hadn't looked at for a while, and it's been no different now.
Yeah, aside from last year, the other years aren't even like COVID years. This is kind of a normal thing, right? And even now with that thrown into the mix, things have been pretty quiet. But
that's right, yeah.
It's been a nice opportunity to, like we always say, jump into something.
Bit of a dry spell to venture
old.
off into something new. New worlds. To explore new universes that otherwise would have fucking fallen by the way due to my preoccupation with novelty, I guess.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, so it's yielded a few interesting experiences this summer for me that we've talked about before, like fucking things like Subnautica there.
Yeah.
Gravity Rush, I enjoyed those games. I know you beat Ghosts of Tsushima and you've gone back into it now. We're going to talk about that a little bit today. But firstly, maybe we could just say a couple of words about games we're excited about this September, and I think I'm looking forward to Deathloop and Lost Judgment,
Oh, definitely. Yeah, definitely Deathloop. Like, something about Deathloop, being obviously, what are their names again?
Arcane.
Devs? Arcane, being an Arcane game.
Yeah.
We at least trust them to put out something good, so...
Yeah, the movement's cool in that game, too. It's nice what they do with, like, first-person perspectives. They have cool melee combat you won't find in other first-person games. It actually functions quite well. Like, if you link control of it from moment to moment, there's a functional dodge. There's a parry that works excellent, too. They incorporate guns into the mix. It's a really cool thing, actually. I'm curious to see what they do in this post-Souls world with that kind of... first-person melee combat,
hoping it turns out good, and I'm eager to try the mode to like invade games and stuff, and try and invade you and
that'll be interesting.
Fuck you up and shit.
I'm excited to try it, man. Arcane is a good studio, so I know they one of their creatives there. I think his name was Sebastian Colantonio. He used to fucking.
I can't remember his name, but he left, right?
He's doing another game called Weird West, maybe, or something like that.
Something like that.
Some like cowboy game with Cthulhu shit in it.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the core fucking team is still intact from their last offering, so I'm hoping that this game is fucking good. I'm looking forward to it. The only thing that makes me apprehensive is that, which might turn out to be one of its most interesting features, but the way that they describe the story as unfolding in this loop, which you're going to have to replay over and again, and like, in a Groundhog Day style, focus on, refining
much like
your
Returnal,
refining your play style until you get through it efficiently and all in one go. But like Returnal at least had one level after the other. If you're just telling me that it's
like checkpoints sort of anyway.
Here I got the vibe that it's just one big map and you have to accomplish a few different things all in the same day, and like that sounds like you could quickly.
Not gonna lie, that does put me off too. It kind of reminds me of like Majora's Mask stuff, where there's like just weird barriers to the gameplay.
I just
right?
really like to play a fucking Dishonored style game with different levels that I go through with my main objective.
It feels like something like this could have been maybe explored in like an in between, like more budget title, just to even sort of gain kind of like feedback and see if people like it or how it works in like a smaller scale. But whatever, right? For whatever reason, they're going for the big AAA game this way. So
I hope it pans out, buddy.
Yeah, very much hope that it turns out good, right?
I hope it does too.
Yeah, we'll be on it day one for sure. Check it out.
It'll be cool to try Lost Judgment as well. I like the first Judgment, though I haven't finished yet. Maybe I'll try and do that next.
Yeah, that would be a good one.
It's a great like detective story set in Japan.
Yeah. Probably like Kyoto, some big city anyway, right?
Like a suburb of Tokyo.
Yeah, there you go.
It's based on a real place, although it's not directly named after it or premised on it. It's based on its like aesthetic and culture and stuff. So yeah, it's pretty cool, and it's nice because it's an outlier to the rest of the Yakuza series. You don't have to depend on your knowledge of it to your pre-existing knowledge of the series to enjoy the game, right? Whereas the other ones, like, you know, there's like 7 Yakuza games. They're not insignificant commitments in and of themselves, and then you got to compound them all together and got to do your Chronicle Yakuza run there.
Yeah, there's a lot.
It might be a bit much for me, so.
Yeah.
At the same time, I'm not sure. Maybe it's excellent. We really do have to give it a shot, man. I'm willing to start with Judgment anyways, and Lost Judgment, you know, perhaps after it. See how that unfolds. Those style of, like, fucking open worlds have been appealing to me lately, right? They're not like maybe it's a good segue into our topic today.
Open, like Breath of the Wild style, Horizon, big, gigantic worlds. Even like Ghosts of Tsushima to a certain extent. I feel like the world isn't totally massive, but there's just so much. Maybe it is big. There's so much to do, much stuff.
It's like that in Yakuza style games too, though, mind you, with the side missions and stuff. But
I bet
in terms of like fucking the world being dense, like that's just I
mean,
like,
that can be okay. Like there can be a ton of side content.
It can be world building, I suppose.
Exactly,
but it's not like something you got to trudge through.
Yeah, in a game like Ghost of Tsushima or even like Breath of the Wild, where some of that stuff's like tied to directly to your character and your stats, like you wanna try and do as much of it as you can, right? Because you want to be fucking as powerful as you can be, right? But it becomes too much, which is a whole other thing anyway. But looks like there's another Tales game, Tales of Arise, you were saying?
Yeah, it looks like that too.
Coming out in September. This one's a funny one. WarioWare, Get It Together.
Yeah, what is that?
WarioWare is like a stupid mini game thing, but I've always liked them because it's like a bunch of mini games that you sort of play in quick succession, and then it speeds up faster and faster and faster until like you have like 4 lives you lose. Once you fuck up 4 of the mini games, you know, like ends your thing, right? But there's like a little campaign thing where you have to go through the different mini games, and they all have like different themes and levels. It's a really silly game, but I've always liked the WarioWare games because they're just like stupid. It's like what I would imagine like the perfect like actual good like mobile game be, like something that you can just actually, for the purpose of sitting down and just killing like 10-20 minutes, but not like, you know, a poisonous piece of shit mobile game. It's actually like a fun little thing, right? Anyway, that's WarioWare. I'll probably actually pick up a copy of
check it out,
of WarioWare for the Switch. I always buy the latest ones.
That's sick, man.
Yeah, they're funny little games.
Good stuff.
Yeah, Deathloop, fucking that Tales game might be something worth. There's already more coming out in September than we probably have seen in the last couple months, really.
Yeah, it's usually the season where things pick up again, though.
Yeah.
Excuse me. You can definitely tell there's been something of a interruption to normal development cycles by all the shit going on.
Yeah, even like, you know, news has been kind of slow lately. Now PlayStation's kicking off with an event a live stream thing in 2 days, so it'd be cool to see if they have any. I don't get excited that much for Sony stuff anymore because they always show like, you know, Horizon, which I'm just not really totally in on, and God of War, which again, like I don't care about their flagship super series. Stoked. Like I'm so down and out on Naughty Dog lately. I don't care what the fuck they're doing.
Me neither.
You know?
Me neither.
I think really Ghost of Tsushima is probably their best offering this fucking...
I think so too. Of all of their in-house studios.
Yeah, right now, like... Even Returnal, which they now own, I think, House Marquee, right? I don't remember if they did at the time, but fuck, that was that was one of the best games that came out this year for sure.
Yeah, that was a great game.
Yeah.
I can't believe it came out this year.
Yeah.
Feels so long ago already.
Yeah, it kind of does, eh?
Yeah. But, on that note, maybe we could fucking venture into what we've been playing in this past period.
Yeah.
For me, it's once again, I feel like I always default to something like an open world game, man. And I know you've done that too, back to Ghosts.
Yeah, the Ghosts was kind of it's weird. It kind of just jumped in because I started playing the Ninja Gaiden fucking collection there. And then I saw Ghost of Tsushima with the PS5 update, and I was like, it's $40 because it also comes with the DLC. It's very much like Final Fantasy VII Remake DLC, though the PS5 version like upgrade was free. Anyway, whatever. I bought it, so jumped in right away. The best, like anything else, the best thing about the PS5 upgrade is really just the load times are basically non-existent, like many PS5 games. So when you fast travel, it's fucking instantaneous, which makes slogging through those, you know, liberating the zones on the map just a little bit more bearable, right? Because at least once you're done one, if you got a close zone nearby, you just boom, you're instantly there. Like literally, it's fucking. That's the sickest thing.
That's
I wish I
something
could.
I've appreciated lately too. With
Yeah.
games that require frequent, jumping around the map. Yeah.
Man, yeah, for next gen, that's like definitely the best thing. But aside from that, I haven't actually had a chance to jump into the new content and the new island, which unfortunately I can't speak of. But I at least started going around and clearing out liberating all the zones, because I never wanted to do that when I was actually playing the game, which is interesting and cool to jump into an open world game like this again and have sort of a little bit of a renewed spirit to be like, okay, like, I didn't want to do it before because I was put off and sort of bored of it, but now I'm in again, so to speak, and I've been sort of clearing the map, upgrading Jin a bit, doing more of the hot springs, all the typical shit, but really I want to just get to the new content and see how that goes.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
That's good.
Yeah, it feels all right.
I wonder why it is that in the absence of something to play, we default to something like open world games, with they have a pretty specific formula attached to them, right? Like even the ones that do it well and in a way that I enjoy, like something like Gravity Rush or Far Cry 5 or Maneater, in fact, where, I like to talk about how the mechanics, which would otherwise in something like Red Dead be some sort of tangent, some sort of addendum to the fucking main narrative, that become kind of cumbersome and get in your way of enjoying the main stuff often,
Yeah.
Here they kind of comprise that, right? Like they build in what minimal narrative there is to your completion of these fucking tasks in the world, thereby justifying both parts at once, right? It's not like this Frankenstein, that doesn't fit. Like you don't have... This is where other people would say there's ludonarrative dissonance, and, I don't agree, because it seems unrealistic for the people to behave that way. I think there's dissonance between the parts of the game insofar as the form and matter are incongruous here. Like, why do you have them together in that way, right? It doesn't make sense. Whereas in Maneater or Far Cry 5, you're going and doing these activities in the world based on the intrinsic logic of the fucking...
Yeah, they have a purpose,
of the act, right?
Yeah.
Like, yeah. It's not like, well, I don't know why I'm stealing horses for money I don't need. I'm just doing that kind of thing, right? Like,
that's true, right? There's a lot of open world games that have kind of crammed a lot of shit down, the game's throat, sort of through, or the player's throat.
And it's
stuff
not always
like that, right? Where you just get money for doing side jobs, and like, what the fuck is the point, right?
Yeah, it's tangential, not even in a way that adds to the fucking, to the density of the world in any fucking cogent, or I don't want to say realistic, in an integral way, like in a way that serves its identity. It doesn't really do that. It just adds fat to it, it feels like to me. It's obesity. It's not like well-toned muscle. You know
exactly.
what I mean?
It's more like just come and hang out in this space and do this, rather than, thoughtful additions to the game that actually contribute to the world, right? Whereas some of the shit, like I agree, in Ghosts of Tsushima, there's a lot of bullshit, but at least the liberating the camps is, showing,
I like how the bullshit in Ghosts is, they dress it up and they define it by some fictional metric, and honestly, it's not really even that necessary to engage in most of it. It's just kind of thing you stumble across on your journey across the world, right? Which is okay, right? Like, I don't find myself in that game doing like runs for the fucking fox shrines or the
exactly.
You just find it on your
unless you feel
around.
like you feel underpowered in some manner. I wouldn't necessarily. Yeah, because as you unlock the map, then you can start fast traveling, but you have to ride to each place, and you'll obviously encounter things. So you seem to naturally, at least somewhat, upgrade your guy. Even though I did a couple runs to get extra resolve, extra health here and there, even just to clean up the map a bit if I'm just fucking around. But it doesn't feel like you're locked into it. Like you have to, almost like how in Breath of the Wild, you kind of have to do the shrines, because otherwise you would have fucking no health and no stamina. Like, it's a big part of the game.
Yeah. Even the way that in Ghosts, though, the shrines are not shrines. They're like this thing that, he sits in a pool to regain his health. Like, it's vaguely like correspondent, with the thing you receive in some statistical or fucking numerical representation is corresponds to the action of the guy in the world. It's not this weird, like, okay, well, I'm going to do again like a block puzzle and somehow after. Like, what the fuck's going on? It's just At least they have this sense that, you know, they're trying to build a world out of the parts that they have in this genre to work with, right?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I like that, yeah. But I think that's what games like Far Cry do too. And I've been playing Maneater, and I think it does this, you know, it's one of the best games for this kind of thing. Like, it's just totally like, some of the reviewers called it just like a collection of mini games, or of side quests, which it essentially is. A collection of side quests, rather, yeah. Because everything that you do is like, you know, I've described before how the zones are pretty much separated into, like, you know, it has an apex predator that you're working towards fighting. There's a fucking bunch of just bullshit you do around, like destroy stuff, eat people,
collecting plates and shit,
fight the shark hunters and all that stuff, yeah.
Right,
and then even more tangential stuff, yeah. But all of that, like, fucking contributes towards the story or your progress in the world. And at, you know, the time you feel sufficiently fucking able, you go and engage with in the first part before the expansion, it was working out that the documentary style revenge tale there, right?
Yeah.
Narrated by Cyril Figgis, you know. So all of the stuff was around that, yeah. And at critical junctures, when you became big enough or whatever, there was a fucking encounter. It said like, oh, Pete's hunting you and stuff, and it just
You gain sort of notoriety, and then they come after you, right?
You just do stuff in the world, and you know, and that's what it was like in Far Cry.
I mean,
as well.
that to me is like almost like a sandbox game, but with a purpose, right?
Yeah,
like it's
I
sandbox, but feeding you towards.
It's not like you feel like, oh, what am I doing this for? It's like, all right, I'm going to do this and make progress doing this thing, right? That's the way it goes.
But it's just like a playground, right? It's a world. It's a thing. You're like, you know what I mean? In that sense, that's cool.
It feels good. I like the way it's structured, man. And it's, people say it's dumb and it's not deep. Like, what do you mean not deep? It's not about people's feelings and their daddy issues and their fucking.
Yeah, what's the fuck is
all other
that
incriminating laundry list of words I could use? Yeah, like, just gonna. It has nothing to do with, you know. I was gonna say with no human concerns, but it does. It's a revenge story, bro. It just has no.
True, you're just seeing it from the shark's POV.
You're not supposed to be emotionally anchored, right? It's supposed to be a speculative thing. You're supposed to appreciate the aesthetic and the fucking logic of what's occurring. It's a cool.
At the end of the day,
right?
It goes back to something that you've always said to me that now I think of constantly is, why make it a video game? You know, why not make this a book or a movie, or why make it a video game? Well, this is why you can't be a shark. Like,
yeah, that wouldn't be a good novel. It wouldn't make a good novel.
Yeah, you know. I mean, it might, maybe, but probably a better video game.
Yeah. The kind of act that's fun to enact maybe isn't fun to read about 50 times over. You know?
There you go. Fair enough. I can dig it.
I really like the loop. You know, I really liked it before, where the map was laid out and each zone had its predator and its aesthetic style and its characteristic activities, although there was some overlap. Of course, you eat different kinds of people or whatever at the zone you find them in. Great. And this one, fucking, you find that the wildlife has your mutations. This is the expansion I'm talking about, actually.
Yeah,
Truth Quest.
Cool.
Yeah, you find a new zone. You find there's that apex predators that have attained the same mutations as the sharks, so the fights become even more interesting. And, like, the fighting in this game is really cool, by the way. There's no difficulty settings. It's not exactly easy, you know? And it takes a lot of, like, learning, man. It's not easy. There's no lock.
Yeah, I remember not struggling, but I remember it not being a breeze either when I first started.
You have to, like, circle, and, like, wait for the guy to attack you and then dodge him.
Wait for, like, an opening. Almost like a Souls, like, you can't just go in, balls fucking, you know?
Yeah. Though later on it becomes, you can just, you know, like right now.
Yeah.
One thing you get at the end of the thing is, you know, of course you get a new zone, there's a new apex predator, there's all kinds of other upgraded versions of the old ones, and there's a new, like, a set of, you know, how in Maneater you can change parts of your shark. New like mutations
gear
for him.
Set, essentially.
There's an atomic one here, which allows you to just shoot fucking balls of atomic energy out of your mouth. It gets unreal, and the last boss is this Godzilla-style creature. It's very cool. Like,
wow.
It takes it in a more science-fictional direction than the other one, which is already fairly science-fictional.
You know what, though? That's exactly what you probably should be doing with, like, a DLC, right? Making it a little more experimental.
It was always campy, right?
Yeah. That's cool. I'm happy to hear that. Makes me eager to
One
jump
thing they
back
added
in.
was time trials, like races.
Oh yeah.
Oh man.
Not down for that.
I am.
You are.
I'm down.
Okay.
Oh yeah. I love movement games like that.
Yeah.
So much.
Hey, Gravity Rush. They had that shit too. I remember you fucking were frustrated, but you
sometimes
speaking highly of it
I was
too.
like, yeah.
That's all right.
Yeah. In Maneater, you can jump out of the water if you angle it right. You can do like a triple jump if you do it right. So
holy shit.
Some of the races, they're brutal, bro. They just ask you to just. You know, I'm like, what the fuck?
Perfectly jump out of the water.
After a really hard, so it took a few tries, but it's really fun. I like how you have the new zone, and after you exhaust it, you find that the monster that you haven't even met yet has escaped containment because you fucked with all of the power centers on the island.
Oh fuck! So it's your fault it happened?
Yeah, so you go follow him back to the old areas, and all of them have new quests in them, new races. There's just new predators to fight and stuff like that. And and then eventually you find the monster and you take him down, and that's that. And they added, by the way, PS5 save transfer, so I actually used my save to
Perfect.
and all of the trophies pinged, and I just
Yeah, most of the games seem to have that. I had to do the same thing with Ghosts of Tsushima.
Yeah. Control
what's
doesn't.
funny though? Oh really?
Yeah.
Oh, that's bullshit.
That is.
It's funny that I was thinking about, because I have a PS4 hooked up in my living room, and sometimes I'll play games like back and forth. I mean, I can't most of the time because they're disc-based anyway, but for whatever few digital games, I can like easily switch back and forth. Once you upgrade it to the PS5, that's it. You're locked into a PS5 save.
No.
I can't like
No cross
resume on my PS4 and
Your
pull
ghost
that save.
Or
Yeah.
what? Oh.
I don't give a fuck, because honestly, I wouldn't go back to the PS4 and play
Yeah,
it
no, I feel
anyway.
you.
It's just something I observed, but yeah, because that's then you become locked onto that save,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
Even with like my Final Fantasy VII remake progress now, I'm essentially
Locked in.
dumped an extra 10 or whatever hours in, so I'm locked onto there, right? Platform wise. So that remake part 2 is obviously going to come out on the PS5, but
Yeah.
I'm excited for that.
Nice. I'm looking forward to that too.
Yeah.
That's
PS5
cool, man.
is the future. Right now, anyway.
I think so. At least it's fun to play on for me.
Fuck yeah.
It makes me think all of these topics about why open world games are fun at all, or rather why they're beautiful, right? Like, what is it in this progression style that makes you engage with a game, right?
Yeah, it's like, especially like we said, I think it's like easy to like jump into some or one of them, like we said, in like a lull period where you're already familiar with it, and it's not too like overbearing, where you can sort of easily slide back in.
Yeah.
And there's like easy
That's right,
things
yeah.
readily available for you to do to contribute, right?
Yeah, it can be like that's right. It's a very fucking accommodating progression style.
Rather than jumping into like, let's say like Dark Souls halfway through, or like a game like that, or like
You can't just wander around and have fun.
a JRPG with like, imagine like Xenoblade 2 jumping into that like halfway. I'm pretty sure you've done that, but it's pretty
I did, right at the end. It was
right?
brutal. It was brutal. It took
it's
a
pretty
while.
yeah.
Had a learning curve, I tell you.
Yeah, exactly. So I think it doesn't suffer from that same feeling. You kind of just easily get in there.
I think you're right. Definitely is that way.
Yeah.
It's a more... I think we talked about this before, but it feels less like being on a roller coaster and more just like a smooth walk. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. It's an expansive way of presenting something to you slowly in increments in a comfortable manner. You feel like you're riding a cloud outward, instead of just like wrestling somebody.
Yeah.
Like Souls-like is a very turbulent experience. RPGs are sometimes demanding and force you to concentrate, whereas open world feels the most like that you enjoy being in the world.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
A lot of the
sort
time. Just in terms of the mechanical aspect, right? Like,
good ones anyway.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah.
My
favorite ones, yeah.
Some of them are slogs. We've spent enough time on this channel
talking about
trashing
that.
fucking and speaking highly of them as well.
Yeah, our opinion has definitely evolved on that, eh?
I think they require like a specific, they need to be like done proper. And
I think they have to be designed in such a manner that whatever activities there are on the side, like they form something of a whole with the rest of it. Otherwise, they become just extra fat that you become sick with by the end.
Yeah, like it was funny that we were talking about Skyrim before we started recording, and like Skyrim is a great game, no doubt, but I can't imagine jumping into that again. Like what the fuck?
Me neither. I don't even like the fiction anymore in the Elder Scrolls games, to be honest with you.
I mean, if they came out with a new one, maybe. I don't even know if I trust Bethesda to come out with a good Elder Scrolls 6 these days, eh? Like, I feel like it's strangely, like, just not...
I'm convinced they have their own game's best interest at heart. Anymore,
yeah.
The Microsoft studio to watch is in exile, bro. Or fucking
ones who did Wasteland?
Obsidian or fucking something like that.
You're probably right.
Yeah, not fucking Todd Howard's boys.
Bethesda.
Although I'd love to be wrong, shit.
We're working on Skyrim 6.
But even then, like, I'm
Elder Scrolls.
suspicious of their ability to just tell a story anymore.
I know you get, but that's the thing, man. You get to that point where it's like even with like Halo. Like Halo has already gone to the point of like it's like Avengers style.
Yeah.
Like I'm not looking there for
I'm just
anything more than, and probably not even like a good multiplayer game.
yeah.
Fuck that. I don't even know, man. Oh. Controversial opinions. Isn't everybody stoked for Halo?
No,
I don't think so. Yeah.
Somebody spent a lot of money to think you think so, though.
Yeah, definitely a lot of people, yeah. Somebody's spending a ton of cash to tell IGN that Halo Infinite's gonna be sick, bro.
I don't know, for me, like, I guess open worlds, I want to play a game to, you know, ritually enact another fucking person or a place, or just transpose myself into another, you know. I'm reading this fucking great novel that I won't get into the details of, other than to say that it involves these people taking drugs and fucking communally envisaging themselves in like these dollhouse style things, these layouts that they buy, these miniature layouts, you know. They're colonists on Mars living in hovels, and they take this drug so they think of themselves in Earth in the 20th century.
Jesus Christ.
You know? And
that's weird.
Just to say, they have these funny languages, the terms they're using to describe this experience with, like transposition. It made me think of like when we talk about playing video games. Like that's exactly the effect I'm trying to describe, right? Like the whole point is that you transpose by the life of your own fucking mind, you know, your own consciousness. Some other thing is living by you, right? You know, your substance takes on its accidents in a sense, right? Intentionally, you know? And that's what I guess fucking open world games, when they're done well, really excel at conveying to me, you know? Because you're not so much stuck in like in a Souls-like in the moment, you know, of a boss fight or something like that. Like in that fucking moment itself, you're not sitting there thinking about anything other than your mechanical reactions, right?
Yeah.
Like you have these peaks and valleys, moments of appreciation and moments of acute, like, you know, whereas an open world game seems mostly like almost like a
more flat
tourism,
plane,
right? Like you're just out there
Ooh.
exploring. Like the world can be, in its best cases, your main focus. In a way that it is in Souls too, but it communicates that in a different manner, punctuated, I would say, right?
Yeah.
That demands more of you to get that return, and it is glorious when it happens. But in this sense, like when you just truly just want to sit back and like, you know, not have conniptions and just experience a world, this is a good format, I think.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, there's, you know, shit in the mix. Like there's obviously combat and like stuff, but like even the point where I'm at now, like for the most part, most of the combat's pretty straightforward. And like speaking from my example of Ghosts of Tsushima, because I'm playing it lately, but you know what I mean? Like it's not like the Souls in a sense where you have to really like sit up to the TV and fucking like get into it. You're kind of just slogging through it, and it's like manageable for the most part. So kind of encourages what you're saying, right? You just kind of,
I think so, yeah.
Fly through it. Feels good.
Yeah.
And that's how it should be, and movement is big on that too, right?
Yeah, Tsushima's a beautiful world.
It needs to literally feel good too, right?
It's nice to explore, to climb the mountains, to see everything. And it's got climbing too, that's nice.
It does have climbing, and it's pretty easy too. You just kind of
Free-form
hold
movement,
up.
yeah.
It's fucking...
It's nice to explore in that game too.
I think it's their best fucking first party title. Like Sony's best first party game, for sure.
Man. I like Infamous, man. I like Sucker Punch's Infamous.
Yeah,
games.
true,
They're
yeah.
a good game.
Yeah.
They should make
Same
another one of
guys,
those.
yeah. Sick.
Better than Marvel, that's for sure.
Oh, fuck yeah. Definitely.
So, I don't know. Far Cry 6 is going to be the next one on the docket in this style, and I'm psyched for that, actually.
Yeah, true.
Yeah. Lost Judgment, I guess, most technically will be the next open world game, though, so... Curious if that takes place in the same map, or if they've moved it around, or what the deal is, because...
You know, we'll have to find out.
Yeah. Anyways, perhaps that would be a good place to fucking send her off for the week.
Yeah, I think so. I think that's perfect.
Play a little bit more Maneater and Ghosts of Tsushima, and next week we're gonna have played.
Fucking Deathloop.
Well, Deathloop's gonna be a week away, maybe a bit tough, but
yeah,
we should have played Tales by then, at least a little bit. So we'll have some information for you fellas and ladies by then.
Fucking A.
Thank you for listening, and we hope you've had a great time. Take care, and we'll talk to you soon. Love you guys.
Oh yeah.